Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Welcome to the Author's Corner. It's Thursday night, May 23rd, and the show will be a podcast repeat on Saturday. And first off, I just want to send out thoughts and prayers to everyone in Oklahoma from the Triangle Network. I can't imagine what you're going through. And listen to us, and you'll be able to download this podcast. The books, the free books tonight will also be free through Saturday night. So later tonight, Jess Hunter, along with his sister Sable, will be joining us. We may have to tie Sable up and keep her quiet, but she'd probably enjoy that, and we'll talk about Jess's new book. And that should be a lot of fun, a hero. Jack Witzel will be here in a little while. We'll be talking about Shadows of Kings, Dragon Rising. Paula Cappa will be here, and we will talk about her books, Night Sea Journey, Dazzling Darkness, and Speed Date. That's what we're calling it these days through the short stories and her blog. Lee M. Lane is going to be calling in tonight. We'll talk about World Mart, Finding Poe, the Hidden Valley Horrors, and, we're more speed dating there. D.X. Luke will be calling in, and she has a free erotic science fiction book called Hot Shots. You can get that on Amazon.com. And we'll be talking about her finding homes, zombie hunters, The Wager, mind games. Whew. Another round of speed dating with some fabulous books. Next up is Paula Cappa. Hi, Paula. I know we were worried about you today. You had storms rolling through.
Yes,
Welcome to
hi,
the Author's
Elaine.
Corner.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, everything's cleared up. No more thunder, thankfully.
Wow, I know. It's been like Mother Nature has run amok all over the world these days. We've got volcanoes going, we've got tornadoes, we've got rainstorms, we've got the cicadas over here rising from the ground like zombies after 17 years.
It is.
But
I know. Terrible.
You are going to take us on a night sea journey. A tale of the supernatural. I'm already getting bumps all over me here. And you've got some great reviews. This is a well-written story by an author with skill. Unconventional, delightful, and complex, intriguing. This book has vivid descriptions and a fast-paced storytelling. So tell us about Night Sea Journey, Paula.
Okay. I guess the best thing to do would be to give you the kind of log line that we have. It's a young woman who's struggling with supernatural nightmares, and she's forced to journey deeper into her dreams in order to save herself from a very mysterious winged being. So, it's kind of it's a creepy story. It really is, and it came from a dream that I had, and that's what started the whole thing. had this dream that there was this big rock wall and the sea, and I began to daydream about the actual dream. So the story came from a dream at night, and it came from daydreams in the day as well. And it takes place on an island. It's called Horn Island, and the main character is Kip Livingston. She's a painter, and she paints her dreams. But when she begins to dream of this mysterious winged being, which she doesn't understand anything about that, it's really very, very frightening. She ends up going to a priest to have her help her. She meets this priest, and when Raymond gets involved with her, things really get intense because now his dreams become affected by her nightmares. So it goes. It has a little romance in it as well. But it's very fast-paced, moving, and if you like stories about dreams.
A very unique cover on it. Now, did you design that yourself?
I worked with two graphic artists, Gina Casey and Todd Casey, and they did all of that for me. But yeah,
very nice.
I really kind of wanted a woman sleeping, and I wanted someone a little shoulder sexy there, and they did all the color and everything else. I wanted it just provocative enough, and I was very happy with it.
It's very, just the cover alone is extremely compelling, but the write-up on it is great. I love that the priest is exiled to Horn Island, and that was interesting. So is this a contemporary time period?
Yes, it is.
Yes, okay. So we are creepy and scary in contemporary time, too, no matter what. I love that. Great reviews on it, and so that's very interesting. And then your other one here, too, that I wanted to get to before we just talk is The Dazzling Darkness.
Yeah.
Now, this is a Kindle Prime, so you can borrow it for free, but, you're going to kill yourself if you get it sucked out. It's I haven't, I'm not a Kindle Prime member, so I don't know how that works, and that alone is a bad dream that somebody could if your Kindle is off, that doesn't stop them from taking that borrow back. That is kind of creepy, isn't it? The Dazzling Darkness is a supernatural mystery. I had a lot of response about this book. A lot of people picked it up and shared it when I posted it on a couple of neat Facebook sites. So, it's a harrowing tale of a couple that lost their child only to find him again, much altered. And that is a tough plot line. So talk about how you came up with this and how you handled it all.
It came up originally from the first character that you meet in the opening. His name is Elias Hatch, and he is the cemetery keeper. And the story opens up in Old Willow Cemetery in Concord, Massachusetts. And there's a secret buried there, and we know this from the outset. We don't know what it is. But the way the story evolved to me was Hatch knows the secret, and he's revealing it to me throughout the whole story. I didn't really know that there was a house next door to the cemetery for a long time. I didn't know there was a family living there for a long time. So the story kind of evolved to me in a very slow pattern. It took me years. It took me probably close to 5 years on and off writing this story.
Wow.
But when I met the family, I didn't meet the boy, Henry, at first, and I didn't know where he was for most of the story. So it was revealed to me just as it is revealed to the reader. And the Dazzling Darkness, it comes from a poem, and it's very mystical, and I think that's why people may be kind of drawn to that title. It's been around a lot, So I think people are kind of familiar with it. And it's kind of a contradiction. So everyone is saying, well, what does that mean? So that's part of the secret that's involved.
Well, is this based on a real story?
No.
Oh.
It's totally fiction.
So you created the cemetery, the Old Willow Cemetery in Concord, Massachusetts, which Massachusetts has quite a history past, between witches and everything else.
Right.
And old cemeteries. I'm from upstate New York, so we had our own ghosts of Hudson Valley wandering around in and out of cemeteries. And so you create. Well, I'm always curious how people do this. So how did you start? You created the cemetery and the spirits first, and then worked in the humans.
I had Hatch first. I had Elias Hatch first, and he kind of it's his cemetery. So I let the character kind of lead me as to who was who and where everything happened. And even though he's not really the main character, he's coming in and out all of the time.
Wow.
I guess if I were to say what happened first, it was Hatch happened first, and then the cemetery and the statuary and the whole scenery was there in a very strong sense for me.
Wow. When I'm reading the description here, it sounds actually real, which is scary enough that you made it sound like it is a real story based in facts. That's why I said, and you've been compared here to Dan Brown. Congratulations on that one.
That was really nice.
So that's really good. That's phenomenal. I love the cover on that one too. That's really
that was done by
just
Gina
a contrast.
Casey. She did that one by herself. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I wanted
really
something
good.
very, very mysterious. That you see something there, but you don't really know what it is. So that kind of blurriness and fogginess. So she did a really nice job with that.
Yep, you nailed that nicely. Well, let's talk a little bit about you. You used to write for newspapers.
Right, yes, I did.
And a freelance hobby editor. Yep, that's my background, too, in advertising.
Yeah.
So talk about how you got into writing fiction.
Well, I was, as a child, I was a reader, so it came from there. I really didn't get into writing until I got into college years, and I won a freshman writing award. It was a total shock to me that I could win anything, let alone something for writing. So at that point, I was considering, do I want to, write, and I wasn't really sure. So I just kind of dabbled in it for years and years and just kind of wrote things and didn't send them anywhere. And of course, my writing was terrible at the time. I wrote a novel. It was just dreadful. I wrote short stories. They were just dreadful. I threw them all out. It wasn't until probably 10 or 15 years after that I got really serious about it, and I really just started focusing on writing fiction. And I started writing fiction before I did newspaper writing. So, yeah, it was kind of odd. And then I decided I would leave fiction for a while because it wasn't producing. I wasn't really happy with what I was doing. So I went into nonfiction and started writing for the newspapers, which I loved. And I was interviewing people and all kinds of business people and artists and photographers and doing all kinds of local events. And it was great fun. And then all of a sudden one day I got really frustrated and said, I really want to go back to fiction. So I started to do that, and once I started at that point, I just think I felt more confident about my skills, and I started selling some of my short stories. So that's how I got into that, and then I started writing novels, and I continue to do that.
Yeah, and I see you have a blog, which I'm going to sign up for because this sounds too good to be true. I love this stuff. Tales of Terror, which features classic short stories of mostly 19th century authors with commentaries. So tell everybody where they can subscribe to your blog.
Okay, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do for a blog. I struggled with it for a long time. I was going to do, reviews or whatever, writing tips and things like that, and I decided, that's not what I really want to do. I love to read, and reading the master writers from, 18th and 19th century are just fun. So I said, what, I'm just going to start reading and just blogging on that and see what happens as a test. And it seems to have attracted a lot of people. So, my blog is at paulacappa.wordpress.com. And every Tuesday I post a tale of terror. And I give a little introduction about what the story is about, just enough to get you interested. And then I give you a link to the actual full text of the story. And I do authors like Dickens, Arthur Conan Doyle, which is what I did this week because it was his birthday anniversary. I've done M.R. James, The Ash Tree, which was really fun. Everybody loved that. Nathaniel Hawthorne. Oh, he's got so many wonderful short stories. He's one of my favorites. He's really good. Very spooky stuff, and in really subtle ways. He doesn't have to, hit you over the head with anything on that. Of course, there's always Edgar Allan Poe, which I do. I love that, too. And Charlotte Perkins Gilman, The Yellow Wallpaper, got so many hits. I was just amazed. Everyone loves to read that short story over and over again. It's a story about a woman who is between sanity, madness, and a ghost. And it's just really exciting. It's really fun. I've done Mary Shelley, The Immortal Mortal, which was really good. Edith Wharton, Guy de Maupassant. So I do one every week. So it's fun. And it's producing a lot of interesting people, too.
Well, that is neat. Oh, I've been to Nathaniel Hawthorne's House of Seven Gables, which you just stand there and look at that house, and it just is jaw-dropping. I have a friend who is heading off to London very early tomorrow morning, and I said to her, don't forget to go to 221B Baker Street because you'll see Sherlock Holmes' home, and you can. I forgot. I think Gary, he went there and brought me a magnet, a refrigerator magnet of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
I'm sure. Yeah, Holmes would be upset about that, but then you never know.
Absolutely.
But he said it cost a lot for a little magnet. Well, they have to be able to send him his royalty in the great beyond. But I think some of the 19th century authors, despite the language of the times, boy, if you sit and read them with one little light bulb on and a storm roaring outside, whew, they are really scary. Very scary.
You have to focus more, I think, on those writers. It's a little bit slower read than what we're used to in terms of contemporary writing, but it's so refreshing. And I think we've forgotten the classics. Many of us, we read it in college or high school or whatever along the way. But they can provide such wonderful stories, and they're presented with different vocabulary than we use today. So as a writer, you can really learn a lot in terms of structure and vocabulary and theme. There's just so much there, and they're very atmospheric. I love all that stuff.
I do too, and I'll never forget one morning the Washington Post above the centerfold was homeless shelters overcrowded. It was the dead of winter, and they were turning people away with blankets. Below the fold was not enough mansions available for sale in the D.C. area. And I thought, Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And we have not learned much. And lately with people going hungry in the food banks, and I thought, well, let's drag out Marie Antoinette and let them eat cake. But because that's what we're coming to. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what are you working on now, Paula?
Well, I'm doing a lot of my short stories still, and I've had about 8 short stories published over the last few years, and I just had one at a Basteron House, which is at Everyday Fiction. They just did it as a podcast, which was really a thrill for me to hear my story read aloud. It was very exciting. So that's my latest one. But I do have one coming up.
Now, can somebody go and listen to that? Where can we listen to the podcast?
That's at everydayfiction.com.
Okay.
And there's the full text is there as well as the podcast. They're in two different windows on their actual website. One is for the actual texts, and then you go into their podcast category, and then you can look for a Basteron House there, or you can put in Paula Cappa. It'll probably come up as well. Folly Blaine did the narration, and she's just really good. It was just so much fun. It's a different experience to hear your story read than if you're sitting down reading it. So that was a new experience for me, which I've been enjoying very much. And I have a short story that I'm still working on now, and another novel, which it's about dark music, something about a composer. I've got a little bit of it drafted up, but I don't know too much. I think it has something to do with time travel. So that's one that I want to work on over the summer. That's my latest thing.
So now, are you a full-time writer, or do you also have a job, a real job?
I am.
Most people don't think we writers have real jobs.
We do. I am a freelance copy editor, so I work from home. So I work from assignment to assignment. Not too much work going on right now, though. But that's what that's my occupation. But in between, I'm writing all the time, Elaine. I'm always writing. Whether I'm, in the kitchen working, cooking or something, there's always a story or a scene going through my head. Sometimes I'll wake up first thing in the morning and there's a scene going on and just have to quickly, write it down. It's always when you're quiet and there's no noise going on that you can kind of hear yourself think about something. So that's how it kind of emerges, is during those kind of quiet times. But it can happen when you're driving the car, if I'm just relaxed and just thinking. And then, so I'm writing all the time. I always have pad and pencil in my handbag so that I can jot down something, because it immediately flies out of your head if you don't write it down.
Yeah, that is so true.
Does that happen to you?
All the time. I have little Post-it notes and pens all over this house, and I was trying to keep a recorder, like if I get a thought in the car. But with traffic, my main focus is on traffic. I don't talk on a cell phone. I have a stupid phone, so it doesn't even text, which is fine with me because I just
like mine.
Yeah, I don't. But I was thinking you really need to get your books into audio. I just did that with all 11 of my books, and they all hit Audible and iTunes. And listening to someone else read your story is quite a different thing. You're absolutely right. It can make you think, oh, my God, did I really write that? Or, oh, my God, did I really write that? So either way. But,
audio,
you can really do that. Yeah, because scary stories are wonderful to listen
for that,
to.
I know. I love podcasts.
Yeah, definitely.
I love podcasts. In fact, when I can find a podcast of one of the stories that I feature on my blog, I'll always add it in there because it's always a nice alternative, I haven't thought about doing audio for my books yet. I mean, my books are only on ebook right now, and I do want to put them out in softcover soon.
Yeah,
but,
it doesn't. That's what they link to. I'll send you an email on it.
Good.
I used ACX, and I'll send you the little how-to email on it because it's really great to get your books into audio.
I'll definitely do that. That's my next
Great.
project. As if I don't have enough, right? I mean, it's been so busy,
well, luckily
really.
You don't have to do anything. The hardest part is sitting and listening to the narrators. There's so many wonderful narrators, and that's the hardest part, is listening to the voice that can and finding the voice that can represent your book. It's really kind of fun to do that. Yeah.
I love to read aloud.
Please,
I mean, it's so nice to do that.
It is. So please let me know when you have something new out and give me a call, and we'll get you back on the Author's Corner.
I definitely
Paula Cappa, will. Night Sea Journey and Dazzling Darkness.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Have a great Memorial Day.
You too. Thank you, Elaine. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.